Hi everybody, this is Oksana. So this is going to be another similar design where I make a frame around just kind of a basic pendant. This is a glue-on bail cabochon with a glue-on bail. And in my previous video I did this and we did just a frame that was kind of locked up top here around the bail. So this time around we're gonna do it a little bit differently, and it's gonna have a dangle on the bottom. If you haven't seen my other video, check that out. It's just another way to do a similar sort of thing, but without the dangle. So if you wanna see how I made this, just keep watching. I'm gonna be using 3 tools. These are the Swanstrom wire cutters to cut my wire, and then I'm gonna be using these pliers here and these round nose pliers. So the regular pliers here are RX 7890. They are Lindstrom tools. And these are Lindstrom as well. They are RX, oops, it's on the other side, RX 7590. All right, so this time my pendant is a teardrop that is positioned point down. If you have not watched my other video, that one is a teardrop point up, and we did a frame that kind of locked here around the bail area. So this time the frame isn't gonna be locked around the bail. The frame's just gonna go around and, as you saw, have a dangle on the bottom. So different design, same kind of concept. So this is around 35 millimeters if I measure the whole thing. Just my stone is probably 25, yeah, 25 or an inch, but yours can be bigger, it can be smaller, although if it's super tiny, it might be difficult to work with. I cut a nice long piece of wire, so this will work for a larger stone as well. So my wire measures to be 9 inches long, and you can use any kind of dead soft wire. It could be round, this is round. It could be square, it could be anywhere from 18 to 20 to even 21 gauge. In my last video I used a piece of wire I had that was 21 gauge square. This time I'm using a round wire just to show you that it really doesn't matter whether it's round or square. It's actually probably a little bit easier with round. This is 18 gauge round, dead soft, sterling silver filled wire. So filled wire is kind of like plated, but it has a much thicker coating of the silver on it versus plated wire, because I'm going to be hammering this, and I don't know if I trust plated wire. Sometimes if you hammer too much, you can crack and damage the plating because it's so thin, but with a filled wire like this, it's nice and thick, so you can hammer it. You can also use solid sterling silver wire as well. I just happen to have a little bit of this. It's really, really old. I don't even know where I got it from. I had it for like 10 years, but it's just sterling silver filled wire. You can use other metals, but I needed something silver in color to match my bail. But whatever wire you want to use, feel free to. Most wires will work for this. And so what we're gonna do is we are gonna try and shape this wire around our stone starting from the top. So the top of our stone is curved. This is kind of the trickiest part because you have to keep messing around with your wire to shape it around your stone. So there's going to be a slight gap because of the way that the bail is, and that's good. You want there to be a slight gap because this frame will just kind of like dangle around your stone. You don't want it to be too tight. All right, so here's one little edge, and we will be hammering this as well for texture. And then here's my other little edge. Let me see if the spacing on that is good. Yeah, the spacing on that's pretty good. So I'm going to kind of bring this together, and as I do that, I'm gonna take a look. I want it to be close in shape to my stone. I don't want there to be like a huge gap on the bottom. Okay, so something like this is probably good, maybe even slightly smaller. Let's see if I can make that slightly smaller. Yeah, like that. So there's very little gap. I don't want there to be a huge gap on the bottom because I'm going to be adding a little dangle. So what I'm going to do here to kind of lock this in place is I'm going to take this wire that's in the back and I'm just going to move it forward a little bit. And I'm going to take the wire that's in the front and I'm going to move it back a little bit. And that way we know where they're meant to connect, because this just keeps wanting to open up. So this wire here that's in the front that we've bent around, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just continue that like so, and then I'm going to trim it and basically close up this little loop. So after I have trimmed it, I'm going to take the little end and I'm going to turn it kind of this way, and I'm going to press on that because essentially it's like a little loop that got formed, and we want to close the loop like so. So the wire end is connecting back to the wire itself. It's just going all the way around and back to itself. So this is my little frame here. All right, so now this wire, just bent it all the way forward towards you if it's not already going that way. So here's our pendant, and this is the wire going towards you like this. And what we want to do is we want to use our round nose pliers now to make a loop with this wire going from front to back. So I'm just using my round nose pliers to help curve this wire. And now I'm going to trim that like so. And then with my regular pliers, I'm just going to adjust this loop by bringing this little wire end kind of all the way around and pressing down on it to make a complete little loop. The loop is likely not going to open because this is a pretty strong wire, this 18 gauge wire. But you can feel free to hammer this little loop for extra strength, or if you wanted to not cut the wire and wrap it around. It's kind of hard to do with this thick 18 gauge wire, but if you're using a thinner wire and you wanted to connect it and make a closed loop like that, you could. But here's what that looks like. So now this is kind of here going around the bail. We can move it so that the loop is here and we have access to most of the frame, because I want to hammer the frame. And you don't have to, but it'll make it a little bit stronger, and then also you can hammer for texture. So this is an iron block, and this is a chasing hammer. It's a jewelry hammer. It has a flat edge and a rounded edge. And so you can use the flat edge, and then the hammering will produce just kind of like a flatter look to your wire. Especially if it's round wire, it'll start to be noticeable that it's looking a lot flatter. And then the other edge, the rounded edge, that's going to add some texture. So I'm just going to show you here on this corner, and then because it's hard for me to hold this in the air, but then I'm going to do the rest of it off camera. So using this rounded edge, I'm going to hammer this little corner. So for comparison, you can tell the texture here kind of has to reflect the light for you to see, but there's this texture here on the corner versus it just being flat here. So if you like that texture, then you would just do that all over using that rounded end of your hammer. So there's a few tips I want to show you with the hammering. If you're thinking, you know, how do I get to the top portion here? Because when we were originally hammering, I was holding it like this so I can do the bottom of the frame. So then you can just turn the frame and you can lay it like this and you can hammer the top edges, obviously not the little loop here. You kind of have to keep that out of the way. And then another thing that generally tends to happen when you're hammering, it starts to kind of curve. See how my wire curved? So you would just come in with your pliers and you would straighten it back out. I think the more you hammer it, the more it tends to kind of curve. So you just have to fix that up so it's nice and flat again. So now the frame goes like this around our stone. It's a little bit bigger than the stone. We had that little bit of spacing around it. So it just kind of dangles around the stone and it can theoretically move, you know, so we're just going to depend on this little dangle that we're going to add and gravity to just kind of pull it down and keep it in this position. But theoretically, when you're wearing it, if you're moving around a lot, it can just kind of move to the side. That can happen. That's just like part of this design. So for the dangle, I'm using one of the scrap ends of that wire, the same wire I was using that I trimmed off when I was making my frame. And it just happens to be 3 inches long. This should be plenty long enough for the dangle. And then I went and I just checked my beads to see which will fit, because this is 18 gauge wire, so it's a little on the thicker side and not all the beads have a hole large enough. You can use a thinner wire for the dangle if you have some beads in mind that don't fit on the original 18 gauge wire. Or you don't even have to use 18 gauge wire. You could have done this whole design in 20 gauge. It's not a problem. So I just have a little round aventurine bead and then just like a little tiny crystal like glass bead. And I think that the aventurine bead is probably like 8 millimeters or so. And then the crystal bead is like 4 millimeters, if that is important to you. So I'm going to remove those. And I need to just make a little loop on the bottom so that my beads don't fall off. So I'm going to use my round nose pliers and I'm going to try to make basically the smallest little loop that I can, because it's just to hold my little beads in place, and that's the only purpose. So I want it to be kind of not very noticeable and pretty small. So I started making the loop. It's almost made with my round nose pliers there, but then I'm going to squish it if I can. It's a bit slippery there. There we go, finally, with my regular pliers, just to make it even tinier. Like so, and now I'm just going to hold that, and now I'm just going to kind of straighten the wire. Alright, so it's kind of like a head pin, and now that I have that, I can go ahead and slide my beads onto that wire. And you can do any number of beads in any order. I just happen to do 2, a larger and a smaller one. And I want it to be positioned like this so that you don't see the loop and you just kind of see the little point. But it's up to you. You could have made a nice large decorative loop, you know, like a really swirly one, and hammered it and have that be, you know, visible like this sideways. That's another way to do it. So I'm just going to hold up here with my round nose pliers, and I'm going to bend this wire back. So if I had a thinner wire, I could do one of those loops where I loop it around and then I also wrap it around here, so it's like a attached secure loop, but my wire is actually quite thick and fairly hard to bend. So because of that, when I make my loop, so I'm just using my round nose pliers here to make my loop. I don't think my loop is going to come open very easily at all, so I don't need to do that with this wire. So I'm just going to trim. Like so. And then I'm going to open this up a little more. Like this, so that I can attach it to my little loop that's on the bottom of my frame here. Oh, and I just realized I made a little mistake, but it's good because I get to show you how to fix it. So I'll address that in a minute. So I'm going to take the end of that loop and I'm going to close that back up. There we go. The loop is nice and closed and attached now. So the thing that I messed up on is the way that I made this little loop on the bottom. I was kind of holding it like this, thinking it would be like this, but the way that it attaches, this is actually facing me now. So all you do, if that happens, you just hold here. You might use pliers as well. You don't have to use your fingers. And then you turn. This is actually kind of slippery. I'm going to hold it with my round nose pliers and then just turn this into the right positioning. All right, so now it's all fixed. Here on the bottom, here's our little dangle, and then here is just that whole pendant. So now having that little dangle on the bottom tends to keep the frame, if you shake it up, it tends to kind of pull it down and keep it in the right position, so it's not going to get, you know, twisted like this on you, because the dangle is going to just, with the weight of it, pull it down. So I think this is a really fun pendant and a great way to spruce up a very plain pendant with just like a basic bail. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please leave me a like down below. And don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos every weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.